filter design, right? We'll do a doubt clearing session tomorrow. Sorry, after your CAT exam got over on Wednesday or Tuesday, you have CAT exam, so we'll do on Wednesday about both the filter designing, FIR and IIR filter designing session. Okay. So today is IIR filter designing. IIR stands for what? IIR stands for? Anybody can reply? What does IIR stands for? What impulse? So it's infinite impulse response systems. That means when your system h of n is something like in the formula of a to the power n u of n, or something like 0.5 to the power n u of n, in that format when we got the systems, right, those systems are called infinite impulse response systems. Okay, now this infinite impulse response systems has a very interesting case. Unlike FIR systems, in IIR systems, unlike FIR systems, the IIR systems are basically system where we convert analog IIR to digital IIR rather than design them, right? We convert those things rather than designing it. Okay. So what do? We take an analog filter whose response is h of t. If you can see this red line, whose response is h of t. We convert these using three certain methods. We use some methods to convert this into digital filters. Unlike FIR, in FIR what we do? We design directly. Sound नहीं आ रहा है? Are you able to listen? Because anyone reply? Are you able to listen? Okay, fine. So who is having complaint about audio? Please check your own system, because I am also logged in via my mobile where I can hear my sound. Okay, thank you. So in IIR digital filters, we basically take an analog IIR filter, use some technique and convert it into digital IIR. That's what we do, right? That's the only thing we do in analog IIR, rather than where in FIR filters we used to convert them. So basically analog IIR filters, analog filter systems are look like this. If you remember, our digital filter systems were h of z, represented by h of z, whereas analog filter is denoted as its Laplace transform h of s. And again, analog filters or analog IIR filters or a digital IIR filter, any IIR filter is going to have both numerator or denominator. Unlike FIR filter, FIR systems we have only numerator. That's why we have only zero system. Because of that, it is very stable. Whereas analog IIR filter, we have to check it out whether it is stable or unstable. Understand? So that's what we have to do. Now, how to ensure that the filter, the analog IIR filter which we convert to digital IIR filter, it is stable or unstable? We know that for a digital IIR filter to be stable, all the poles must be inside the unity circle. Whereas in analog IIR filter, all the poles must lie inside left half of the S-plane. So this is how we should understand the mapping procedure. Now suppose this is an analog IIR. This green line is an analog IIR and it has been converted to a digital IIR. So digital IIR means we are talking about h of z. Analog IIR means we are talking about h of s. Correct? So if we know that analog system is stable when the poles lie at these points, left half of the S plane. We know that this is S plane. Okay, this is S plane and this is my Z plane. And we know that a digital system is stable when all my poles are here inside this unit circle. So the pole mapping says that how an analog filter can be converted to a stable digital filter is that if the left half of the S plane map inside the unit circle. So mapping is left half of S plane should map inside unit circle. This is my S plane and this is my Z plane. Then right half, this part, right half must map outside of the unit circle. This is inside unit circle. This is outside unit circle. Okay. Then the line, the j omega axis, the j omega axis has to map on the perimeter of this unit circle. The j omega axis has to map on the circumference of the unit circle or perimeter of the unit circle. This is how we can able to map all these three filters, right? All these three conditions. If these three conditions has been satisfied, then you can say that okay, successfully we are able to convert an analog IIR to a digital IIR. Okay, so take down that concept. We have three methods of this conversion. Basically three methods of mapping analog IIR to digital IIR. So in question, what you will going to get, you will get some HA of S value, right? This will be given. So suppose HA of S is equal to 1 divided by S by 1, right? This is a single pole analog filter, and the question will be given to you that convert this. Okay, repeat the last concern. Okay, fine. So basically what will happen that this mapping, if you see, this circular part represents the Z plane and this part represents the S plane. So the mapping is that left half of the S plane, while converting analog to digital IR, that my left half of the S plane map to inside the unit circle, right half must map to outside unit circle, and this j omega axis, right, this j omega axis must map on the perimeter of the unit circle in Z plane. If all these 3 points are satisfied, then only we can say that I am successfully converted an analog IIR to digital IIR, right? Or a stable analog IIR to stable digital IIR. So in question, you usually will be given this kind of question. Suppose HA of S is equal to 1 by S plus 1. And so it will be, question will be convert this analog IIR into digital IIR. Convert this analog IIR to third condition. Third condition means, okay, third condition means this j omega axis condition. Okay, right? Okay, let me drop down this one. So this is my S plane and this is my Z plane. Okay, so this is my circle, unit circle, right? Now it says the first condition is, suppose here some poles are present, left hand. If left side pole is present in analog system, that means it's stable. So the mapping has to be inside this. This is clear. This is clear that left has to map to inside unit circle. Clear? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, fine. Now this right side, let this circle. This is right side. Okay. This right side will map to outside this unit circle. Okay, outside means these parts. Got it? Understood? Understood this part, that right side should map to outside of this unit circle. Clear? Okay, fine. Let's come to the third part. So let's take the third part. So third part is, suppose there is some pole which is present on these axis, right? Certain poles are present on this axis, right? That is j omega axis, right? Now when they got converted, when this j axis, this analog IIR got converted, these poles which are present on this j omega axis has to map on this circumference, on the unit circle, right? On the unit circle. Understood? So this may take any value from here or here or here. They should not map inside unit circle nor outside unit circle, rather than on the unit circle. Now understand? Now you got it? That what is this mapping? Okay, fine, thanks. Now, how to do this mapping? That is the whole part of this analog IIR filter design. So, okay, so there is three methods. One is called approximate derivative method. One is called why you are sending your roll numbers? I know, already have taken the screenshot. You have joined late or what? Okay. Second is impulse invariance technique. Third is bilinear transformation technique. These are the three techniques we are going to see one by one. People thought this is a Diwali. They started roasting crackers over here. Wow. Now, okay, fine, fine, fine. Not an issue. Not an issue. Okay, I will copy this chart. Okay. So now we shall move to the first technique of this IIR filter design, that is approximate derivative. Once you understand approximate derivative, other two will be easy to follow. Okay. So let's bring my other whiteboard, that is not this, not. Okay, let me bring my other, this is approximate derivative method. So this is the simplest method of conversion. Okay, this is the simplest method of conversion. What does it do? That our basically aim is to do what? Our basic aim is to create a mapping criteria. What mapping? That S plane to Z plane. Right, that is what we have to do. So for this mapping criteria, we have three methods. Okay, approximate derivative, impulse invariance, and bilinear transformation method. Right. So we have now this approximate derivative method. So here, now if you remember your Laplace transform classes, if you multiply S with some Laplace transform in time domain, it denotes a derivative. Remember? Are you able to remember that in Laplace domain, if you multiply S with something, it represents a derivative? Yes or no? Anyone? So what? Right, good. So now suppose I have an analog system which is denoted that this HA of S is equal to sorry, this HA of S is equal to S. So now if I send an analog signal through it, my Y of t will be going to dx of t dt. Now if I apply Laplace transform on both the side, I will get that Y of S is equal to Sx of S. My HA of S is going to be equal to S, right? That is my initial condition, that okay, my H of S is equal to S. Now how I am going to map this condition to my digital system? That's what is whole point of approximate derivative. Okay, now suppose I sample this differentiated output dx of t with respect to t equal to nt, or I sample n number of created n number of samples. I created how? I create n number of samples with an interval of t. in t intervals I created n number of samples of this particular output. Okay, so that's what it is represent, dx of t suffix dt equal to nt, that will represent x of nt minus x. So what does this this one represent? So this is something called numerical differentiation. If you remember, or when you start your first method of understanding derivative, how you are doing? So suppose this is point t, this is point t, and this is point t plus 1. So how you are doing differentiation using first method? So suppose this is x of t and this point represent x of t plus 1. How you are doing the first method? If you remember, that was limit t tends to infinite x of this is x of t plus 1 minus x of t divided by delta t. Remember, if this is t plus delta t, remember, this is the first method, limit delta t tends to 0. Have you remember this first method of understanding differentiation? Yeah, that's what we are trying to do over here. That okay, I will take this concept over from here to here, that my numerical differentiation will represented using my first method of differentiation, x of nt minus x of nt minus t divided by t equal to, which is nothing but my y of nt. Now for purpose of understanding, we know that you usually represent x of anything, x of nt or dt as x of n, right, in digital world. This is just numerical notation, that's all. So that's what we have wrote here, that this equal to x of n minus x of n minus 1 divided by t equal to y of n. That's all. This is only change in notation. These two are same. Be very careful, these two are same. This is only change in notation, that's all. That's why I've written in red that t represents sampling interval and x of n equal to x of nt. It is just a notational change. Okay, this is just a notational change, nothing else. Now if I apply Z transform on this particular equation here, if I apply Z transform on this particular equation, what I am going to get, that this x of n will be x of z minus z inverse x of z, that is my time shifting property, divided by t is going to be equal to y of z. So h of z is equal to 1 minus z inverse divided by t, right? So this one we have given equation number 1, that is h of s. This is equation number 1. Now you have given equation number 2. Now if I compare 1 and 2, we can deduce that my s is mapped to 1 minus z inverse divided by t. That means we can say that my mapping of h of z is equal to, this is represent the analog, this is my digital IIR, this is my digital IIR h of z, which will be equal to my analog IIR taken to the consideration, this is my analog IIR taken to the consideration, that I am replacing the function s equal to 1 minus z inverse divided by t in there. Okay, that's what the concept. So let's solve on a simple problem over here. Now suppose question is given to you, suppose a question is given to you that HA of s equal to 1 divided by s plus 0.1, right? Convert this to digital IIR, right? So what you have to do, the answer is very simple. The answer is pretty simple. What you have to do, you have to simply convert s to 1 minus z inverse by t. You have just to replace in place of s with this factor which we just deduced, right? So my h of z is nothing but 1 divided by 1 minus z inverse divided by t plus 0.1. This is my answer. You have to simplify and write it. Now generally in question t value will be given to you, some t value will be given to you, but if the question has not given any t, please keep the t as it is, not an issue. Okay, that is how you understand approximate derivative. Now there is a problem with approximate derivative method, that's why other two methods come to picture. The problem is that approximate derivative method cannot be useful for designing other filters such as high pass filters and band stop filters because of certain problem. Okay, so I'm just giving you one simple task because you know that this I cannot take this meeting more than 30 to 35 minutes. So I'm just giving you one task that if you don't have your book, someone just messaged, I will upload this PDF. This is the PDF of your book, Proakis book. Okay, Proakis book I will upload. You please go to this page number 704. Okay, this particular page 704. Understand? You go to this page. Go to this page and please go to this page and understand what this figure 10.3.2 is. Okay, your task is to, while coming to the next class uh, we'll schedule on Wednesday, right? I will schedule on Wednesday and put update in Google Classroom. You please tell me, someone has to explain me. I will open a mic, whoever will whoever will agree, you will have to understand me what is this particular figure. The explanation is given here in these two equations, right? In these two equations. Now your work is to make me understand what is this thing. Right? Basically the figure is saying that your whole S plane is getting mapped to a smaller jet plane. Okay, S plane is mapping to a smaller jet plane. That's what we are looking at. Okay, I will upload this today's task and the book today itself, right? So we'll finish IIR filter on Wednesday, right? So Wednesday I will take 2 consecutive sessions, right? I will put 2 within 10 minutes interval. I will put 2 sessions so that I will finish IIR filter that day itself, and your doubt also clear about IIR and FIR filters both. Okay, fine. So I will ending this meeting right now. Because less than 1 minute I have to clear this annotation drawings.